Chapter 1. The Signal from the Abyss. In the deepest shadows of space, where even the brightest stars seemed muted beneath veils of drifting cosmic dust and forgotten storms, there existed a nebula unlike any other, an ethereal and brooding swirl of color and silence called the Shattered Veil. For centuries, the nebula had been a place of myth and dread, whispered about in starports and fleets alike, for none who ventured near its heart ever returned unchanged. It was a place where the laws of physics seemed to bend and falter, where time stretched and curved like waves breaking against unseen shores. Ships that entered found their instruments playing tricks, distorted readings, ghost signals, and occasional flickers of strange, inexplicable phenomena. Yet, to Captain Mira Solon and her crew aboard the Odyssey, the Shattered Veil represented more than a hazard. It was a mystery that demanded unraveling, a frontier that beckoned with secrets waiting beneath its swirling veils. Mira stood at the helm, the blue glow of the nebula bathing her stern features in a ghostly light. Her eyes, sharp and tired, scanned the readings streaming across the console. The crew moved with practiced precision, a tense ballet of anticipation and unease. They had been tracking a peculiar signal for days, a pattern of pulses unlike any known code, a voice reaching out from the depths with a raw, aching quality that stirred something primal in the marrow of every listener. It was not a mechanical beacon nor a distress call from a stranded ship. It was a cry, a call for aid, resonating with an intensity and sorrow that transcended technology and language. It was a sound that spoke of something living, something ancient, something beyond their understanding. The Odyssey's sensors adjusted, filtering through the nebula's chaotic interference to home in on the source. The signal grew stronger, more insistent, guiding them deeper into the swirling clouds of gas and starlight. The nebula itself seemed alive, pulsing with the ebb and flow of cosmic winds and charged particles, casting shifting shadows that danced like spirits caught between worlds. As they ventured farther in, the Odyssey's hull creaked under the strain of electromagnetic turbulence, and the bridge's atmosphere thickened with a silent tension. Every eye was fixed on the view screen as a massive, shimmering shape began to coalesce out of the nebula's glowing mists. It was impossible at first to discern an immense form, colossal beyond imagination, draped in scales that shimmered with iridescent hues reflecting the nebula's ghostly light. Wings, vast and translucent, stretched like sails woven from starlight and shadow, their edges fraying as if torn by cosmic storms. A great head, crowned with spines that crackled faintly with energy, turned slowly toward the Odyssey with eyes that burned like twin suns, filled with a sorrow and wisdom that seemed to pierce the void itself. It was a creature out of myth, an ancient dragon of the stars, a living embodiment of power and mystery, adrift and wounded in the abyss. The bridge fell silent, every breath held captive by the sight of the colossal being. Mira felt her heart tighten, not just from awe, but from a surge of empathy that defied explanation. Here, in the depths of space, was a creature crying out for help, its majestic form broken and drifting helplessly among the stars. The dragon's presence was a puzzle and a promise, a testament to the unknown wonders that still lurked beyond humanity's grasp and the fragile beauty woven into the fabric of the universe. The crew's scanners confirmed what their eyes could scarcely believe: massive injuries riddled the dragon's scales, patches of energy leaking like wounds, and its vital signs flickering faintly, a heartbeat struggling against the pull of oblivion. Myra's voice broke the silence, steady but laced with urgency. "Prepare the medical bay and emergency supplies. We're going in." The Odyssey moved closer, engines humming softly as they adjusted for the nebula's unpredictable currents. The dragon's enormous form loomed closer, every detail etched with tragic grandeur, scars that told of battles fought in forgotten star systems, energy burns from unknown weapons, and a faint, rhythmic pulsing beneath its chest that suggested a heart still fighting against the void. The ship's sensors struggled to interpret its biosignatures. The creature's biology was unlike anything cataloged in the universal databanks. It was as if nature itself had woven together strands of technology, energy, and organic life into a single, breathtaking entity. As the crew prepared for the boarding operation, A subtle vibration thrummed through the Odyssey, a resonance that felt both foreign and profound. The dragon's cry had been more than a call for help, it was a beacon, a summons that resonated with the ship's own core. A connection sparked, faint but unmistakable, bridging the gulf between species and space. Mira sensed that this was no accident, no random distress. The dragon and the Odyssey were bound by fate, their paths converging at a nexus of loss, hope, and the unyielding will to survive. The airlock hissed open, and a boarding party donned suits designed for the nebula's harsh environment. As they approached the dragon's side, the enormity of the task ahead pressed down on them. To aid this creature would require more than technology, it would require understanding, compassion, and perhaps sacrifices none were prepared to make. The dragon's scales shimmered as if alive, rippling with energy that spoke of ancient power and deep sorrow. When the first contact was made, a shudder passed through the ship and the dragon alike. A silent exchange that transcended words. The dragon's eyes locked with Myra's, and in that gaze was a universe of stories, of civilizations lost and promises broken. The cry for help was not just from a wounded creature, but from a guardian of secrets too vast to comprehend, a sentinel of a forgotten era begging for salvation in a galaxy that had long forgotten its wonders. The airlock hissed open with a soft, lingering breath, revealing the staggering expanse of the dragon's colossal form. The boarding party moved cautiously, dwarfed by the creature's shimmering scales that reflected the eerie glow of the nebula around them. Each step echoed against the beast's immense flanks as they approached the injury sites, massive burns and cracks that pulsed faintly with leaking energy, evidence of wounds not inflicted by nature, but by the cruelty of advanced weaponry. The dragon's breath came in slow, measured gusts that rippled through the fog of the nebula, a haunting melody that filled the hearts of all who heard it with a mixture of awe and sorrow. Dr. Lin, the ship's lead xenobiologist, bent close to a wound, her scanner struggling to process the complex bioenergetic signatures intertwined with the organic tissue. "This isn't just injury," she murmured, voice trembling. "It's as if this creature has been used as a conduit, a battery for some unknown power. Its life force is draining, but there's more residual energy signatures suggesting that it's been subjected to experiments, or worse." Her words hung heavy in the air, a somber revelation that deepened the mystery and the tragedy. Myra's gaze never left the dragon's luminous eyes, those vast orbs shimmering with ancient wisdom and unspeakable pain. She felt the weight of millennia pressing down in that silent connection, a cry not just for healing, but for understanding. The creature was not simply lost or injured. It was a symbol, a living relic of cosmic histories that stretched beyond human memory. The nebula, once a place of fear and legend, now held a secret that challenged everything they knew about life and the universe. The boarding party worked swiftly, deploying nano-repair drones designed to mend organic and energetic damage alike. The dragon shifted, a low rumble vibrating through its massive frame, a sound that resonated with the Odyssey itself. The drones swarmed over the wounds, knitting together broken bioelectric pathways and soothing fractured scales with gentle precision. Slowly, faint glimmers of renewed energy sparked beneath the damaged areas, like the first light of dawn breaking a long, dark night. But healing physical wounds was only part of the challenge. The dragon's mind, ancient and vast, was burdened by memories of pain and captivity. As the creature's vital signs stabilized, a deeper, more profound connection formed, a bridge of empathy and telepathic resonance forged between Mira and the dragon. Images flooded her consciousness, star systems torn apart by war, sanctuaries destroyed by greed, and a desperate flight through the cosmos to escape relentless hunters. The dragon was a guardian of knowledge, a survivor of cosmic atrocities committed by forces that sought to control and exploit living beings of immense power. The ship's sensors detected faint energy signatures, nearby signals from vessels that moved with deliberate stealth, shadows among the stars. The hunters had not abandoned their prey. Myra's heart hardened with resolve. They had found the dragon not by chance, but by design. The fight to save this ancient sentinel was just beginning. The nebula's shifting colors seemed to darken, as if the cosmos itself braced for the storm to come. As the Odyssey prepared to protect its newfound charge, the crew understood that the dragon's cry was more than a call for aid. It was a summons to confront the hidden horrors lurking in the galaxy's forgotten corners. The story that had begun with a single, mournful signal was unfolding into a saga of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bonds forged in the heart of darkness. Chapter 2. Secrets Beneath the Scales. The dragon's recovery was slow and fragile, a delicate dance between ancient strength and wounds too deep for simple healing. Within the sheltered confines of the Odyssey, the creature settled beneath domed energy shields designed to protect it from the harshness of space and to maintain an environment mimicking its homeworld if such a place could still be found. The nebula's swirling colors leaked softly through the ship's observation windows, casting shifting hues that played across the dragon's iridescent scales, each one telling a story older than human civilization. The air within the healing chamber was thick with hums of advanced technology, working tirelessly, nanites knitting flesh, bioreactors pumping life-giving energy, and sensor arrays streaming vital data into the ship's central computer. Dr. Lin and her team worked in reverent silence, their efforts a testament to both scientific rigor and compassion. They had never encountered a creature of such complexity, part biological, part energy matrix, something forged by the universe itself in an ancient crucible of cosmic forces. The dragon's physiology defied classification, blending organic cells with quantum energy conduits that shimmered beneath the surface. Its nervous system was a network of bioelectric pulses intertwined with exotic particles that resonated with the nebula's ambient energies. Healing meant more than mending flesh. It meant coaxing back the creature's essential vitality, its connection to the cosmos from which it had sprung. But beneath the layers of wounds and repairs lay deeper mysteries. The dragon's mind was a vault of memories, encrypted in waves of telepathic impressions that Mira alone could begin to decipher. Through quiet meditation and profound mental focus, a fragile bridge formed a communion of minds across species and time. Mira saw visions of the dragon's homeworld, a once vibrant planet of crystal forests and floating islands, where creatures like it soared beneath twin suns and ruled the skies with grace and power. She saw the rise of civilizations that revered the dragons as gods and protectors, beings who guarded the delicate balance of nature and energy across the galaxy. And then she saw the fall, a cataclysm wrought not by nature, but by sentient hands hungry for control. These memories revealed a dark chapter hidden beneath the radiant scales. The dragon and its kin had been hunted, captured, and subjected to brutal experiments by a shadowy alliance known as the Dominion. This coalition of warlords and scientists sought to harness the dragon's unique energy to fuel weapons of unimaginable power, living engines of destruction that could reshape entire worlds. The dragon's wounds were not just scars of battle. They were the echoes of chains broken and freedom lost. Its cry had been a signal sent in desperation, a beacon carried across light years hoping to find rescue and salvation. The Odyssey itself became a sanctuary and a battleground. As the dragon's strength gradually returned, so too did the dangers that had chased it. The Dominion's fleets moved ever closer, their warships cutting through the nebula's clouds with calculated menace. Sensors aboard the Odyssey detected their approach, a fleet of vessels armed with devastating weapons and cloaked in stealth technologies designed to strike unseen and vanish into the dark. The crew readied themselves for the inevitable confrontation, their spirits tempered by the knowledge that the survival of not just the dragon, but perhaps the galaxy's fragile balance, depended on their courage and unity. Captain Mira, now more than ever, felt the weight of her responsibility. The dragon was no mere creature, it was a key to understanding forces that transcended ordinary conflict. It embodied a connection to cosmic energies and ancient wisdom that the Dominion feared. Protecting it meant standing against a tide of darkness that sought to extinguish light wherever it burned brightest. And yet, amidst the looming threat, Mira also sensed a fragile hope, a chance to reclaim what had been lost, to heal not only the wounds of one magnificent being, but the scars etched across the stars themselves. As the Odyssey prepared to face the Dominion's assault, the crew found strength in the dragon's presence, its slow but steady healing a symbol of resilience against overwhelming odds. The nebula's colors pulsed in rhythm with the ship's life signs, a cosmic heartbeat that echoed their shared determination. And somewhere deep within the dragon's mind, a silent vow echoed, a promise that its story was far from over, that the light of the stars would not be snuffed out without a fight. Chapter 3: The Siege of Shadows and the Heart's Reckoning. The nebula around them simmered with silent fury, a swirling tempest of charged gases and ethereal light, as if the very cosmos itself bore witness to the unfolding struggle aboard the Odyssey. The dragon, still fragile but now flickering with renewed strength, rested within the sanctuary of the ship's healing bay, its scales softly luminescent beneath the shifting glow of the nebula outside. Yet, the peace was fleeting, an ephemeral respite before the storm of battle that was fast approaching. The Dominion's fleet loomed on the sensors, dark silhouettes cutting through the vibrant colors like harbingers of despair, their intent clear and merciless. They sought to capture or destroy the dragon and the Odyssey, to seize the cosmic power it represented and silence the hope that still flickered in the heart of the ancient creature. Captain Mira Solon stood resolute on the bridge, her mind a whirl of strategy and determination. The crew, though weary and outmatched in numbers, were united by a fierce resolve. They had come to understand that this fight was more than survival, it was a battle for the soul of the galaxy itself. The ship's AI, Sentinel, hummed with activity, weaving a tapestry of defensive protocols and countermeasures that merged technology and the strange bioorganic energies radiating from the dragon. The Odyssey was no longer just a vessel. It was a living fortress, its very essence intertwined with the fate of the dragon and all who sailed with it. As the Dominion's vessels encircled them, Mira felt the weight of history pressing upon her. She recalled the telepathic glimpses shared with the dragon, visions of ancient wars where dragons soared as warriors and protectors, where galaxies were shaped by their mighty wings and unyielding wills. The echoes of those battles resonated in her heart, fueling her courage even as the enemy's fire began to rain down. Energy blasts streaked through the void, colliding with shimmering shields that flickered and held, the Odyssey twisting and turning with agility born of desperation. In the quiet moments between volleys, the dragon stirred. Its great head lifted, and a sound, both mournful and defiant, reverberated through the ship's decks and into the hearts of those aboard. The cry was a call to arms, a rallying beacon that united crew and creature alike. The dragon's telepathic link with Mira deepened, allowing her to share in its memories and pay millennia of loss, the shattering of worlds, and the unbroken hope that had driven it to seek salvation beyond the stars. Together, they prepared not only to defend but to fight for the dawn of a new era. The battle raged with relentless fury. Dominion ships unleashed waves of destructive energy, attempting to breach the Odyssey's defenses and capture the dragon by force. But the crew responded with fierce precision, their weapons tuned to disrupt the enemy's shields and systems. Sentinel coordinated strikes with an uncanny intelligence, exploiting weaknesses and adapting to the evolving tactics of their foes. The living ship pulsed with energy, its bioorganic components amplifying the dragon's power and resilience, turning it into a nexus of strength that even the Dominion's most advanced weapons struggled to overcome. Amid the chaos, Kale, a young cadet aboard the Odyssey and one of the dragon's most fervent protectors, found himself face to face with the brutal reality of war. His hands shook as he manned the ship's turret, firing at shadows that closed in with lethal intent. His thoughts flashed to the dragon's suffering and the fragile hope that rested on their defense. Every life aboard was precious, every moment a testament to the courage born of desperation and belief. Kale's resolve hardened. He would fight not just for survival, but to honor the dragon's legacy and the promise of peace it embodied. As the skirmish stretched into hours, the Odyssey began to draw upon ancient technologies dormant within its hull. Hidden energy nodes ignited, releasing waves of stabilizing power that bolstered shields and restored critical systems. The dragon's strength surged in response, its scales glowing with radiant energy as it unleashed a mighty roar that shattered the silence of space. The roar was more than sound, it was a pulse of raw cosmic force that rippled outward, disrupting enemy systems and buying precious time for the crew. Yet victory was not assured. The Dominion's commander, a ruthless figure shrouded in shadow and malice, intensified the assault, deploying experimental weaponry designed to tear through both organic and synthetic defenses. The Odyssey shuddered under the onslaught, alarms blaring as critical systems faltered. Myra's voice cut through the chaos, steady and commanding, rallying the crew to hold fast. The fate of countless worlds, the legacy of ancient dragons, and the fragile hope of new beginnings depended on their unyielding spirit. In a desperate gambit, Mira ordered the activation of the ship's core resonance, a last-ditch measure capable of unleashing a devastating energy wave that could disable enemy fleets but risked catastrophic damage to the Odyssey itself. The crew worked feverishly, synchronizing their efforts with the dragon's pulsing life force. As the energy built, a profound silence fell over the ship, a moment suspended between destruction and salvation. The release was overwhelming. A brilliant wave of light and power cascaded through space, unraveling enemy weapons and propulsion, forcing the Dominion fleet into retreat. The nebula seemed to shimmer with the echo of the dragon's roar, a cosmic anthem heralding a fragile victory. Exhausted but unbroken, the crew of the Odyssey gathered in the healing bay, tending to wounds both physical and spiritual. Mira looked to the dragon, now resting peacefully, its eyes reflecting the nebula's gentle light. In that moment, she understood that their journey was far from over. The scars of war ran deep, and the darkness that pursued them was patient and relentless. But so too was their hope born from the courage of a dragon who cried for help in the hearts of those who answered. Chapter 4. The Light Beyond the Veil. The stillness that followed the retreat of the Dominion fleet was a fragile thing, a whispered promise hanging in the cold vacuum where stars drifted silently like distant memories. The Odyssey floated within the heart of the shattered veil, a nebula that now seemed less a place of fear and more a cradle of resilience. The swirling mists, bathed in faint iridescence, enveloped the ship as though shielding it from the darkness still lurking at the edges of the galaxy. But peace was ephemeral in the cosmos, and the weight of all they had endured settled like a heavy cloak upon the weary crew. Captain Mirasolin stood on the observation deck, gazing outward into the vastness, her thoughts entwined with the fate of the ancient dragon and the countless lives intertwined with this fragile sanctuary. The dragon itself, once a beacon of mystery and sorrow, now rested within a chamber suffused with soft light and healing energies. Its vast form, once marked by grievous wounds and exhaustion, shimmered faintly as life surged anew through veins of bioquantum energy. The scales that had been fractured and dulled now gleamed with a renewed luster, reflecting the nebula's shifting colors like stained glass windows in an ancient cathedral. Yet beneath this radiant facade lay the depth of memory and pain, a history etched into every fiber of its being, a story that transcended time and species. Myra's connection to the dragon had grown beyond duty. It was a communion of minds and souls forged in the crucible of shared trials. Through silent meditation and the subtle threads of telepathic resonance, she glimpsed fragments of the dragon's past, worlds once lush with life, skies filled with flight and freedom, and then the devastating betrayals that had shattered those paradises. The Dominion's greed and cruelty had scarred not only the body but the spirit, twisting noble guardians into refugees fleeing an unforgiving cosmos. Yet, amid the shadows, Mira sensed an unbroken will, a flicker of hope that had survived centuries of exile. The crew, their bodies and minds wearied by battle and loss, found solace in the dragon's presence. The living ship itself seemed to breathe in harmony with the creature, its systems pulsating in sync with the bioenergy flows coursing through the dragon's heart. The Odyssey was more than a vessel. It was a nexus of life and technology, a bridge between past and future, a sanctuary for a legacy that refused to fade. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, blending ancient knowledge with modern innovation to restore and enhance the dragon's vitality. Their efforts were acts of reverence, an acknowledgement of the profound bond between life and cosmos. Yet the galaxy beyond the nebula remained a labyrinth of peril. Sensor arrays detected faint disturbances, shadowy movements of vessels that skirted the edges of detection, probing for weaknesses, waiting for a moment to strike. The Dominion was far from defeated. Its hunger for power and control was relentless, and it wielded resources that could smother the fragile light of hope if left unchecked. Mira and her crew knew that the battle for survival was but the first act in a larger, more perilous drama. In quiet moments, Mira reflected on the sacrifices made and the burdens borne. The dragon's cry for help had been more than a summons. It was a call to awaken dormant courage within humanity itself. The journey had transformed lost souls into warriors, fractured spirits into a family bound by purpose. Together, they carried a legacy heavier than steel, a promise to protect the light of life against the encroaching darkness, to honor the ancient guardians whose stories had shaped the stars. Plans were drawn to venture beyond the shattered veil, to seek out allies in distant systems, and awaken the dormant powers hidden in forgotten corners of the galaxy. The Odyssey would no longer be a solitary beacon, but the heart of a growing constellation of resistance. The dragon, once a wounded exile, was now a symbol, a living testament to resilience, hope, and the unyielding will to survive and thrive. As the nebula's mist curled and shifted like living flames around the ship, Mira felt the dawn of a new era on the horizon. The galaxy was vast, its mysteries infinite, and its dangers real. But within the hearts of those who dared to dream and fight, the light of the stars would never be extinguished. Together, they would chart a course through the darkness, a path toward healing, renewal, and the dawn beyond the veil. The nebula's embrace began to wane as the Odyssey prepared to chart a course beyond its protective veil. Outside, stars glimmered with ancient light, their distant warmth a reminder of the countless worlds waiting, some lost, some yet to be found, all bearing the scars and hopes of civilizations entwined with the fate of the dragon. Captain Mira Solon stood resolute on the bridge, feeling the weight of responsibility settle upon her like a mantle forged of starlight and shadow. The dragon, now fully restored to a magnificent semblance of its former glory, had become more than a living enigma. It was a beacon of hope for a galaxy fractured by greed and war. Inside the healing chamber, the dragon's vast eyes opened slowly, revealing depths that shimmered with centuries of wisdom and sorrow. Its voice, when it spoke, was a resonant blend of cosmic thunder and gentle wind, speaking directly to the minds of those gathered. It told of ancient covenants between its kind and the myriad beings that once flourished in harmony across the stars, promises broken, worlds torn asunder by ambition, and a prophecy of renewal tied to the courage of unexpected heroes. The dragon's story was a tapestry woven with light and shadow, a legacy of sacrifice that demanded guardianship. The crew, united in purpose and strengthened by trials endured, vowed to carry this legacy forward. Scientists and engineers worked alongside warriors and diplomats, crafting alliances and technology in equal measure. The Odyssey became a symbol of resistance, a living testament to the power of hope amidst despair. As they journeyed toward uncharted sectors, seeking allies and reclaiming lost knowledge, the dragon soared within their hearts, its spirit an eternal flame against the encroaching dark. Yet the shadows that pursued them were not easily banished. The Dominion's remnants lurked at the edges of known space, their hunger for control relentless. Mira knew that the coming battles would test every fiber of their resolve, that sacrifice would be demanded anew. But she also knew that the dragon's cry had awakened something vital, a unity forged in the crucible of pain and hope, a force that no darkness could silence. In the final moments aboard the Odyssey, Mira looked upon the dragon with profound reverence. Together, they had faced oblivion and emerged into the light. Their journey was far from over, but the dawn had broken a new chapter in the saga of the stars, written not in blood and ruin, but in courage and renewal. The galaxy awaited, vast and uncertain, but no longer silent. The dragon's cry had echoed through the abyss and found a home, and with it, the promise that even in the darkest nights, the light of hope endures.